Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the homestead. Today we're back on the Dodge project again. What we want to try to get done today is at least get the exhaust manifold on. I'm not sure if we'll get the turbo hung on it too today as well, or if we'll just get the exhaust manifold on. We'll see how long the video goes. We have, as you saw in the earlier videos, we got the old manifold off. I didn't get to show you on the video, but the bolts on the end were angled probably about the thickness of the bolt, because that manifold has shrunk so much. So that's why they do the three-piece. The three-piece will kind of adapt and doesn't shrink in length like the long factory one does. I couldn't get the nuts off the turbo. I didn't try real hard. I just decided, screw it, I'll take the whole thing out as one assembly. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in. Pay no attention to all the odd little pieces here. These go to the fuel system. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and stick those right back here with all the other fuel system stuff. We have 10 bolts, 10 spacers. We have 2 studs, 2 nuts, a bunch of gaskets, and then we have some random pieces over here. These bolts hold the turbo on, and this is the one that goes in here for your heater lines. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our 2 studs that go here, like this, into the head. And then we're going to go and get it done. So those are going to go in the center 2 ports. And there's a couple ways you can crank these in if they don't want to go in by default, like they don't seem to. You can double nut it, or you can use a small pair of vice grips. I happen to have a small pair of vice grips that I can get on there. And we're going to put a lot of never sees on this stuff. You want to just grab it back here where there's no threads, of course, so you don't mess up your threads. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to take all of these, and these, get these set over here. And then your gaskets have a kind of a dimple on them, and I usually put those out. Set them out of our way. And then I think we're going to get an exhaust manifold. And I think we're going to climb right up in here. We'll get up in here and then we'll have the camera lady hand us the manifold. How's that? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start the 2 nuts there, because that's still going to leave us room to get our gaskets in, of course. And we're going to take this and this gasket. You gotta love the Dodge part of it where they put half the motor back under the cab. But it's not too bad. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is have the camera lady possibly hand us some more of these bolts and spacers. You can do it without getting, never sees all of you. But then I might get it on you anyways.
Rude.
That one. And you definitely want to be careful not to force anything. If things seem like they're not going in easy, you want to stop and figure it out, because you could break, you know, something if you're pulling too hard on something. But you see how easy that's sliding right in. Here. So I'm going to do is snug them all up, and then we'll torque them. And then we need a 16 for the nuts. Probably a deep socket if you could. So now what we're going to do, we're going to find the torque specs on these, and we're going to torque these bolts all down. We're going to put our plug in for our, so this manifold comes pre-drilled and tapped for EGT probes. You typically, if you're going to use just one, my understanding on the Cummins is you want to put it on the back cylinders because they run hotter. So we'll plug the front one. The adapter that goes in here, I tried to take out of the old one, but it's stainless and it galled. So I'm going to have to see if I can order one of those adapters that goes on the pyrometer. So the pyrometer probe goes down in there like that, and that's what measures your exhaust temperature. So we'll just stick that up out of the way. We're going to see if we can't look up some torque specs, so we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the homestead. Today we're working on a project that's a little bit dodgy.
So took a break, took a shower, grabbed a cold beer. I looked online, the manual on this, and I told you wrong on the studs. The studs actually go down here for the turbo, and two of the Allen cap screws go up here. So I changed those. I found that it's supposed to be torqued to 35 foot-pounds, so I've gone through and torqued them all 35 foot-pounds. I do not have a 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter to torque these, so I just went good and tight on those. I'll probably check these again after it's been run, you know, for a couple hours, and just make sure they're good and snug. But that's pretty much it on the BD Diesel 3-piece manifold. I do have to put the plug in here because this is drilled and tapped for EGT probes. And like I told you earlier, this probe here, I actually ordered the piece. That probe will go there. And this one gets this brass plug. Now I probably wouldn't put any pipe thread compound on that just because it gets so hot it's not going to matter. So we'll go ahead and we'll wind that in. And that's it. I am going to put this up out of the way for now, just so we don't get tangled up in it when we put the turbo on. But that pretty much concludes installing the 3-piece BD Diesel exhaust manifold. Fairly impressed with the quality. Seemed to go in very well. Came with everything we needed. The one thing I will say, if you're going to swap yours and you're planning on doing a weekend project and you've already drilled and tapped your stock manifold and used the adapter for the thermocouple, you probably won't get that back out. So a couple things that I can suggest is to make sure you buy a new oil feed line, and make sure you get the gasket for the drain line. The turbo came with a whole bunch of different things, but it didn't come with the gasket for the drain line. So I've ordered that. I did order a new feed line. Ordered this one feed line online, and it came with a couple different adapters. One of them is a 1/4 inch to AN6, and the other one was 12 millimeter. Unfortunately, both ends, the turbo and the oil filter housing, are 12 millimeter. So this is missing one adapter. So I have the pieces coming to make that work. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we'll wrap this video up, and we'll see if you guys won't come on back and watch us install the big shiny turbo. So that's the next step. We'll get the turbo installed, the exhaust hooked up, get the elbow back on that goes to the intercooler, and just start putting things back together. We have our boots, our Power Driven Diesel boots, clamps. Still on the fence on the intercooler, whether we change it or we go with it. I haven't completely decided on that yet, but anyhow, enough rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.